Hello, my name is Ken Ballard Jr. I'm the pastor here at Encounter Community Church. And again, I'm so excited that you want to learn about prayer, and that's why you're going through this page and watching this video and looking at the tools that we're making available to you for you to be able to utilize to help you have the best prayer life possible. And with that, that's exactly what we're going to talk about for this video, is how to get the most, or getting the most out of your prayer life. Is getting the most out of your prayer life. So how do you do that? Here's the first step. Now, this is not complicated. It's just simply start. Just start praying. Just start praying. Like I said, I know that at the beginning it's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel weird. But the more that you do it, the more that it becomes a part of your life, the more it becomes commonplace for you, the more it becomes part of your own personal culture, the more natural it will feel. And so what we want to do on this video is we want to look at what are some things that you could do to even enhance the quality of your prayer life and what it is that you do. So here's the first thing I want to encourage you to do is create the environment. Create the environment. I want to encourage you to experiment and find the places where you are most comfortable praying. There's no absolute model. You don't have to bend at your knees and pray. You don't have to. There are so many different ways that you could pray. So if you want to practice by maybe kneeling at your bed, if you want to start there, but there's some other ways that you can create the environment and just begin to experiment. Some people, what they like to do is they'll get up in the morning, they'll have their cup of coffee, and before they turn on the news, they'll use it as a time to pray. Some people like to get dressed, and then when they're in their car, as they're driving to work, they will use that as a time to pray. And depending on where you are and where the traffic is like, you probably want to pray anyway, But sometimes people will do that. I'll tell you, for me, one of my favorite times for me to pray, and I absolutely get the most out of it, is in the mornings when I work out or when I'm just out in my neighborhood. I love to be outside walking. Now, specifically in the morning, I love like the freshness of the morning. I'm out, and it's just an opportunity for me to hang out and talk with God as I'm walking through my neighborhood. So just experiment and try things where you feel like you connect with God the most. Maybe go to a park, hang out on a park bench, pray there. Maybe go in your backyard, pray there. Just try and experiment with different places that you find, that you can find, and see what place you feel like you connect with God the most, and begin to make that the place that you pray. So that's the first step, is create the environment. The second thing that you want to do is be specific in your prayers. See, how do you recognize when God is at work? The more specific you are in your prayer, the easier it will be to recognize when He's at work, when He's doing something, when He's moving. And I'll give you a prime example. If you say, God, bless my job, that's a good prayer, but how do you know when He's doing it? Compared to, God, I have to have a really tough conversation with my boss this morning, and I'm just not completely sure how it's going to work out. So can you guide my words so that I can be able to be eloquent and in a way that I am able to communicate with my boss? See, now something like that, that's specific. God, I have this task, this project that I'm working on at work, and there are certain things that have to fall in line for that project to happen. And you can list what those things are that need to fall in line for that project to happen. Again, the more specific you are, the easier it is for God for you to recognize when God is at work. God, bless my family. Great prayer. But what if you said, God, my son is having a tough time at school, and here are the ways he's having a tough time. I pray that you help him. See? Or, God, my wife is going through this health crisis, and here's exactly what she's going through. And then you are able to share that. So the more specific you are, the easier it will be to be able to recognize when God is at work. The other thing I want to encourage you to do is to start a prayer list. Start a list of things that you want to pray for. And you can add your family to that. You can add friends to that, maybe your job to that. You can add the community to that. You can add our nation to that. But just start a prayer list of things that you want to pray for. Because what that will do is that will also keep you out of the habit where you only pray for yourself. Now, there's nothing wrong with praying for yourself, but you want to expand the horizons. And one of the things I have found is the more that I pray for others, the easier it is for me to be compassionate to the struggles that other people are wrestling through. And so one of the best things to do that is simply ask this question. Hey, I'd love the opportunity to be able to pray for you. Is there something I can pray about? And most people would love the opportunity, or love the idea of knowing that you are willing to pray for them. And they will be willing to share with you what they love to pray about. But maybe start a prayer list of things that you would like to pray for. The other thing, along with the prayer list, is you can start a prayer journal. Now, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the next video. But you can start a prayer journal where you just maybe write down your prayers, write down your thoughts and your prayers. But it's a way to keep track of your prayers, and you can see how God is working or how God is moving in those ways. The other thing that you could do is start a plan. So again, and we're going to get into that a little bit more in the next video as well. But having a plan, it really does help you to be consistent in the ways that you pray. It really does help you to be able to track what you're praying, to be able to move what you're praying and see God at work and see God moving. So start a plan and be able to practice that and just see the different ways that you can see God be able to move. And the other thing I want to encourage you to do is set a time. Set a time that you'll pray. Now, it should be both. I want to encourage you to shoot for both. To be spontaneous in your prayers, because there have been times where I've done that. I'm driving down the street, I'll see an accident, so I'll pray for the people in the accident. Or maybe I'll see a homeless guy walking down the street, and I'll pray for the homeless guy. Or maybe I'll see teenagers walking across the street in front of me, and I know how tough it is to be a teenager these days, so I'll pray for the teenager right in front of me. But there are also times it's really important to set a time for prayer, where you pray on a regular basis, put it in your calendar, put it on your schedule, and mark it off that this is a regular time that I spend with God. Because it's very easy that if you don't do that and you just rely on being spontaneous, it becomes very easy to get out of the habit of prayer. And then if you fall out of the habit of prayer, then you begin to feel disconnected from God. And then when you really want to go to God, you feel awkward about going to God because you haven't been praying to God, and it becomes this whole cycle that you find yourself in. So these are things that you could do to help you begin to get the most out of your prayer life. Well, again, thank you so much. God bless you. And I can't wait to hear about your journey. And if you try some of these things, please share them with me. You can email me at kenballardjr4@gmail.com. It'll be in the link, so you can be able to, it'll be in the description of this video, so you can click that, and that way you can email me and talk to me about your prayer life and how's that's going, and I would love the opportunity to be able to pray for you as well. Well, take care, and God bless you.